Hello again, everybody. Barry Hyatt here in Scottsville at the UK Extension Office with my good friend, Mindy McCulley, who is talking summer squash today.
That's right.
You?
We are going to make a great recipe that uses zucchini and yellow squash. So two of our summer squashes.
Yeah, good deal.
We're excited. So this recipe is called balsamic veggie pasta.
Pasta, okay,
Yes.
good deal.
So, of course, we all love pasta, right?
Who doesn't? Yep.
And actually, this recipe could be a one-dish meal if you were going for a meatless Monday or something like that. Then
Okay.
you could use this recipe as a one-dish meal. But I've started warming a tablespoon of olive oil in my skillet, and I'm going to add just 2 cloves of garlic instead of minced up.
Okay, very good.
And we're going to let that kind of simmer just for a few minutes, just to get nice and fragrant. Actually, just about a minute. And then we'll be finished with that.
And you can definitely smell it, can't you?
You can already smell it, that's right. And that's one of the great things about our garlic is that it's so fragrant, but it also adds great flavor as well.
It does. You're
so
exactly
we're
right.
going to use that. Now, of course, with our summer squash, if you have any summer squash, you have a lot of summer squash usually. So you're going to find that at the farmer's market now.
Yes.
Because it's been so wet, you might have to, they might be a little small right now, but they're going to get a little bit bigger.
Oh, sure.
But we want our summer squash to be about 6 to 8 inches long when we purchase them anyway. And this recipe, the other thing that's great about it is that it is so economical. So, when you first of all buy your veggies that are in season, you're going to find that you're going to get a really good price on them.
Yes.
And so we're going to be able to make this recipe probably for less than about $5 for the whole recipe.
Can't beat that, can you?
That's right. And so we're adding, and I have really rough chopped my squash because I want it to be big enough to get a really good taste of it when you put it in your mouth.
Sure.
And also, as we've talked about in the past, I've left the peels on, the skin on, because I want that to, when we're losing some, we talk about that too, don't we?
We always lose a little bit.
We always lose a little. But I want the nutrients that are close to the skin, and squash is a really great source of vitamin A and vitamin C. So, this is a really healthy recipe as well as being tasty. Now you can see we've got nice yellow and nice green in there. And we're going to let those cook for just a minute or so. And we're going to add in some red. We're going to get our tomatoes. So this is going to be one of those really beautiful recipes. It's got lots of color in it. And I know we've talked about this before too. We eat with our eyes.
We do.
And so having a recipe that looks as pretty as it tastes is really important. So we're going to just let those work together for a little bit. I'm adding a couple of tomatoes.
Do you have a preference on the type of tomato?
So for this recipe, you want to use a meaty tomato. So something like a plum tomato or aroma, something that has, it's not a whole lot of juice, but it's got some good meat to it. Because you want it to kind of hold its shape.
Right.
And not all tomatoes, as you cook them, will hold their shape. We're adding half a cup of green onions.
Okay.
Not our favorite.
Not our favorite, but sometimes I guess you have to do what you got to do.
That's right. Well, and we need them to add a little bit of flavor as well. Now, you know me, and I like my color.
Yes.
Green onions are in season right now, but if you're a little bit later in the season, maybe go for some of those, a red onion. And do a half cup of red onion. It's going to have a little bit of a different look, but it's going to be so pretty in there with our recipes.
Right.
So, can you smell it already?
I can.
It smells good. Okay, so now we're going to let that cook down just for a few minutes, and we're going to put you to work here.
Okay, very
we're going to
good.
make the sauce that's going to go on, or the dressing, I guess.
Sure.
So we have a couple of tablespoons of balsamic vinegar.
Okay.
We're going to add that to your big bowl.
To the bowl, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
And then a couple tablespoons of olive oil.
Yes.
A recipe calls for 3, but that's really a lot of olive oil.
A lot, yes.
And so we can cut calories just by, and that's 14 calories in the whole recipe.
Wow. Okay.
By cutting out 1 tablespoon. So we just did 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
And then the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of dried basil.
Okay.
But fresh basil is in season right now.
Okay.
So let's use fresh basil, and
So
so we're going to use
combine
3
this
times
as
as
well.
much.
Okay.
Yes.
All
So
right.
it's 1 tablespoon instead of 1 teaspoon.
Sure.
And we're
Okay.
going to just whisk those together.
Okay, very good. We'll see here. Now, I've done this a little bit before with Janet, and so she said, Barry, even you can't mess this up. So.
That's right. You can't, you're just making a little dressing for it. And this smells wonderful already.
And it looks great. And like you say, so colorful too.
Well, and we are only, it's basically only just warming these vegetables.
Sure.
Because these are all vegetables that you can eat raw.
Right.
But we just want to get them a little bit warm.
Right.
Because we are going to mix them with pasta, and pasta seems to do well with warm vegetables. Although, if you wanted to eat it chilled, I think you could do that as well.
I think you probably could, sure.
So I'm going to turn mine off here, and then we're going to add these vegetables. If you want to bring your bowl over.
Most certainly, yes.
Put the vegetables in the bowl here. Now I really smell that.
Yes.
And then we're just going to, if you want to sit
Right
there,
there,
we're
sure.
going to toss those together. Now,
And you've already pre-cooked the pasta as well.
I did pre-cook the pasta just because it's TV, right?
And it takes a little bit longer, so we always,
does.
sometimes we get a few things done ahead of time before we start recording. of
Exactly.
course.
So now we've just tossed those vegetables with that balsamic vinegar. So it's going to give it like a marinated
Taste.
vegetable flavor.
Sure.
The recipe says to let it sit for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Now, normally that's why you would be cooking your pasta. But
Yes.
because we've already cooked the pasta, we're not going to let it sit for that amount
Right.
of time. But that just gives time for the flavors to really marry.
Sure.
And
Most
you
certainly.
get some good taste there. Now, if you prefer to grill your vegetables, you could do that, certainly. This would be a really easy recipe to adapt to the grill. I would probably take my squash and I would put it in spears
Yes.
instead of in rough chop like that, and then
Sure.
chop it once it comes off
There
the
you go.
grill
Yeah, that
to
makes
go
sense.
in. And then your tomatoes, probably cut them in half and put them on the grill, and then
chop them
chop
small.
up
Very good.
when you put it in.
All
Okay,
right.
so now let's add that pasta in here.
We're going to do it right now.
We are. We're going to add that
Okay,
pasta
we're going to
in.
give it a shot here.
Yes. And then we're just going to kind of toss these all together.
Got two more stragglers there.
They're wanting to hang
you
on,
wanna grab
aren't
them?
they?
There you
we
go.
go. Wanting to hang on. They like that pot.
And we didn't spill any that time, which
That's
is
right.
remarkable, you know?
Yes. Who would have thought that we, between the two of us,
I
we
know.
usually can make a good mess, can't we?
That's exactly right.
So this, just getting down underneath it. We probably could use both of these spoons to pull
Probably.
those veggies up to the top so that we get the veggies all over that pasta.
And this makes about how many servings would you
So
guess?
it says 4 2-cup servings, which is a huge amount.
I was going to say, that's large. right
If
there.
you're going to use this as a side dish, you probably are not going to have that huge amount for a serving.
Right, sure.
But if it was your main course, of course.
And,
then,
and what kind of an event would you want to serve this for? I mean, if it was just besides at home, I mean, would anything
So-
come to mind?
well, it would do great at a potluck.
Okay.
That's one of those recipes that you can whip together, and you can see how quickly we put it together.
Yes.
I probably spent 15 minutes just chopping the vegetables, and that's it.
Wow.
So it's a really easy recipe to put together.
Now, could
And
you
it's-
could the squash a little bit longer if you wanted it to be
You
maybe
could,
a little?
if you like your squash to
Maybe
be a little bit more tender.
soft,
I
right.
like to have a little bit of crispness to my vegetables.
Sure, a little crunchy.
So, your pasta also, you want to cook it about 7 minutes so it's al dente.
Okay.
Which means it's still a little firm. Because as these vegetables mix together with the pasta, they're going to cook it up a little bit
Sure.
just more. So that just gives it a really good texture, and it's not mushy and that sort of thing.
And the thing about it is too, Mindy, there are so many farmers markets available now in all of our
Exactly.
counties, and so perfect place to go get your summer vegetables.
And you can get, all of these are things that you can buy at the farmer's market
Most certainly,
now.
yes.
And so they're going to be tasty. Put this, maybe serve half a cup serving with a grilled chicken or
Sure.
a nice strip steak.
Most
It's a
certainly. You
great
could add the
meal.
meat too.
And it would be great.
Well, listen, if you guys want this recipe, it's oh so easy to get. You can get it in a few ways. You can email me at North Central. My email address there is barry.hyatt@nctc.com, or you can simply go to our website. It's www.nctc.com. We'll make sure the recipe is on there. And Mindy, you have another way.
That's right. We can also have this recipe at plateitup.ca.uky.edu, or you can also find it on our Facebook page.
And you have all kinds of recipes, not just
We
this
do.
one, on your
We
Facebook
have
page.
we've got over 100 recipes there. So things that, you can use all summer long, because they really do focus on that produce that is available now and throughout the growing season. So lots of recipes are available there.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for all your help today.
Thanks.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Take care and have a great rest of your day.